Hey guys, welcome back. So we're getting ready to get this seat going. We've been shimming and adjusting and checking all kinds of stuff. I'll show you where we're at. So one of the features, we need our seat back angle, like kind of like how tilted it is. So we just set up some clamps up here and we can adjust our clamps that are pushing on this, and that allows us to change the tilt and also the rotation. So see, the straight edge is against the rockers, and then I don't know how good it's going to show up on camera, but basically the front edge is square with that. So that's how we got our seat square. But you can actually adjust that by taking these clamps and like rotating them like this. As it does that, the whole seat twists, which adjusts that front edge. So that's actually how we set two different angles, this angle and this angle. So we got those two set, and then we got to position the seat back as, basically we want the seat as low as possible. We set that with our spacers, and we need it as far back as possible. And I'll show you that. So see that circle? That's where there's a brace that's going to tie in from, say, about here and then angle and hit that circle, something like that. So I'll show you. I've got a mock-up piece. This isn't like the piece, it's just a piece of pipe. Of course I catch a magnet on that. But just to give you some perspective, this pipe is going to go something like this. And it's really tight to the seat. I don't know if that shows up on camera, but they're basically damn near touching. But that's actually okay, because the seat will unbolt and come out of there, and I'll have plenty of room to weld this plate, or this pipe to the plate. And actually, this pipe's going to get welded to that plate. I'll tack it in place, and then pull the assembly out, weld it, stick it back in there, and then I'll just weld the plate to the floor last. So basically, as long as they don't touch, we're okay. So that one's, we got the seat basically as far back as it can possibly go. Sorry for the noise, bunch of motorcycles. But yeah, so that's the seats as far back as it can go. It's as low as it can go. We've got all our angles set. The only dimension left is this way or this way. So if you look, we have the seat kind of jammed over towards the thing, which is opening up a gap near the rocker, which we actually need for to run our rocker bar. We've actually moved it a decent amount. So if we come over here, you can see that plate is pretty much can't get any better than that, or it won't go any further. It's basically running into the bottom of the wall there. This one's got a little bit of room, but that's just the nature of that being a curved surface. So we can't really move that way anymore. So that's pretty much it. So essentially that's the seat position. That's where we think we're going to end up with the seat. I'll kind of back up. Hopefully I can get a better view of this. But that's how she's going to be. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's a decent view. So, and it won't be adjustable. That's part of the reason we're putting all this effort, is this is not adjustable. Once you bolt the seat down, that's it. But that's kind of the advantage. We can get the seat super low and far back and all that kind of stuff. And it'll be pretty rigid too. Since it's not adjustable, everything will be rigidly hooked to the car. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, that's what she's going to look like. So our next step is we need to do something, and we're going to get these brackets bolted to the seat. So what I'm looking at, I think I can actually reach in with like vice grips and just literally clamp this part to this. And I think I might be able to do that over there. We're going to try, and if that works, that'll allow me to clamp those, take it out of the car, and then mark it and then drill it. That'll make that easy. These front ones, I don't know, I don't really have the tools to clamp those yet, so we may just have to mark them or something, or try to, do what we can. So we still gotta figure that out. That one over there, there's really nothing I can do. There's like, I can't even get my fingers in there. That thing is so tight. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, that's kind of the next step, is get this stuff marked, clamped, take it out, and drill holes and get these brackets bolted to the seat. One thing I will mention, that just little details for builds, like if you guys are ever doing fabrication, you pick up little pieces along the way. So this bottom edge, or let me look at this edge. So see how this weld kind of pokes out in certain places? I'm zoomed in. You can see like some spots it doesn't, some spots it does. I have the same problem down here. My little brackets wouldn't fit flush. Like right now they're pretty flush to the metal, but that wasn't the case earlier because that weld was all bubbly and poking out. So we just took a filed it down smooth. Wasn't, it took like 3 minutes. But it looks better, and now my brackets fit way better than before, and we did it on both sides. So little stuff like that makes your life easier, and technically we probably saved 1/4 of a gram. So anyway, let's get these brackets marked and drill some holes, bolt it up, and then we'll be able to set the seat in here. Right now it's sitting on that 1/4 inch plate that we talked about, and then it's prevented from tilting by this stuff. So once we get the brackets done, we'll be able to set the seat in here and remove all that other stuff, and it'll be in the same position, but now it'll be sitting on the brackets instead of all this other stuff. So let's get to it. So check it out. Since these are in position, pretty easy to take a Sharpie and mark those. So we did that on both sides, and now we're just going to pop those off. Suppose center punch, and then, let me think about this before we do it, but I've got a drill that we could use that I might actually employ for this, a step drill. Because the problem with hand drills when you're drilling sheet metal, they're bad about like tearing the metal and doing dumb stuff. I think step drills are better for that, and I have one, so I think we're going to give that a shot, see how that goes. Okay, so we have a problem. So in the last part we said we're about to drill these. We got them marked, we started taking these plates off, and the obvious that I kind of forgot about has snuck back in. So remember a little while ago we said that we might shorten these plates? Well, we never did that, and after moving them around I got them to fit, but look at this spot here. So this hole is tap drill size, which is like let's just say 0.42 inches, I don't know what it is. But we got to make that a 1/2 inch hole for a 1/2 inch bolt, which means this metal is going to be kind of like where my fingernail is, and that top piece, that's all there is. That's just a big hole. So basically that's stupid. Here's something else I haven't even looked at, but this is the bolt that's going to go there. So if the head of the bolt, imagine the center of that. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. Look how close it would be to the edge. That's just not even smart. That's not strong enough. Like I said, we're probably going to, just so this makes sense, if this bracket really did go here, like say it went here, this bottom piece, we're probably going to weld a piece of metal there as well that the bottom could sit on. So like in this example, if this bracket was here, we would, well man, there's not shit for room there, is there? Anyway, I like the idea of doing that. See if the top one looks any better. Had that one there. Okay, at least to here, you could try to put a bracket on the bottom. But anyway, the point is, these are all longer than they need to be, so we're about to shorten these and try again, because that's just kind of making life hard. Or, well, we're adding weight. These are 1/4 inch thick steel, so I mean, this has some mass to it, But that's making that weaker. This hole, if we're going to put a hole, it needs to be like down here, somewhere, because look at the inside. This bolt, right now, the bolt would be like, say, here. We want the bolt down here somewhere. Not too close, but fairly close, like somewhere about there. So on this side, that would be like, roughly speaking, about here. So we're going to eyeball that, grab a caliper, or mark it, grab a caliper, measure it. And whatever that distance is, we're going to cut. We'll do the same thing for both of these. Figure out how much we're going to move them, and then we're going to cut that corresponding amount off of each bracket. And then we're going to do all this work again and hopefully clamp it back up and try again. But luckily I realized this before I did it. It wasn't obvious for some reason, I forgot, but when I saw that and I was getting ready to drill it, I was like, wait a minute, that don't even look right. So anyway, we're going to fix that and we will continue. Okay, so turns out vice grips actually worked perfect for these brackets. Since there's a window right there, we were able to clamp those right where they go. So that's awesome. So we can pop these out of the car, mark them up real nice, drill those, bolt them up. So that's great. The front ones, I can mark that one, but I can't get to that other one. But I thought about it, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do these back two first. So we're about to pop those out, drill it, bolt them up, reinstall it in the car, and at that point, the seat back will basically pivot, it'll pivot about those two bolts. And then we'll do the front ones after that, which will probably be this one, and then at that point we'll have 3 out of 4. I don't know, we'll figure it out, but since these two are kind of easy, I think we're going to do that and then continue from there. Oh yeah, and just to throw this in there, when we were talking about all the measurements we did, we talked about how we adjusted the roll of the seat this way. You'll note that angle finder right there. So what we did was we threw it on the main hoop and checked the angle of the car and then compared it to the seat, and they were practically identical, or we adjusted it until they were. But funny enough, when it looked right, when we measured it, it was. So we've got all the angles. So here we go. Okay, so we called an audible. So for those who don't know, Gorilla Tape is the best thing in the world. And I couldn't help but think that I could probably just tape these tabs to the seat. Problem is getting to the one over there. But I grabbed my blue tape, thought about that for about 4 seconds. I was like, nah, this is gonna be a Gorilla application. So this one was actually pretty easy. We got it in place, and you can see it's obviously tight on the floor. This one over here was a little bit harder to do, but we got it. It's in there. And the thing with Gorilla Tape, it's just a beast. This stuff's amazing. So I'm not too worried about that moving. The vice grips might sit. That tape's gonna hold. LOL. So yeah, now we're gonna pull a seat, and we're just gonna do all 4 of these and send it, see what happens. But I think it's gonna work.